Hey everyone, welcome back to English Unlocked, the podcast that helps you speak smarter, clearer, and more confidently in everyday English. I'm your host, Ethan, and today's episode might just surprise you. We're diving into something that affects your speaking skills more than you think. Nope, it's not grammar, it's not your accent, and it's definitely not vocabulary. It's those tiny, harmless-sounding words that sneak into your sentences and weaken your impact. Words like, literally, basically, actually, Today's topic? Overusing filler words and weak expressions. We all do it. But by the end of this episode, you'll know why it matters and how to fix it, fast. To explore this in depth, we're joined by communication coach and language expert Lena Brooks. Lena, great to have you here.
Thanks, Ethan. I'm genuinely excited about this topic because it's something I see everywhere. In classrooms where students are afraid to speak up, in corporate meetings where people try to sound more casual or relatable, in job interviews where nerves take over, and yes, even in podcasts like ours. These filler words, they feel harmless, even natural, right? We say them without thinking, like, literally, and the list goes on. But what people don't realize is that these words slowly eat away at the power of your message. Imagine a beautiful painting covered with random stickers. That's what fillers do to your sentences. They cover up the strength and clarity. And the interesting part? Once you become aware of fillers, once your brain catches them, you'll begin to hear them everywhere. On TV, in conversations, in your own voice. It's like buying a red car and then seeing red cars all over the road. That awareness is the first step to fixing it.
Absolutely. Let's take this simple sentence and break it down. So I was literally just trying to explain, but it kind of didn't actually make sense. That sentence is technically English, but it feels so heavy, so unsure. There's so much fluff that the main idea gets lost. You can almost hear the speaker hesitating, second-guessing, even apologizing through their words. And the irony? This could be coming from someone smart, confident, and experienced. But the sentence weakens their image instantly.
Exactly. And here's the magic of a simple edit. Watch this. Original. So I was literally just trying to explain, but it kind of didn't actually make sense. Polished version. I tried to explain, but it didn't make sense. Same message, same truth. But this time, the sentence is confident, clean, and intentional. And in today's world, where people are overwhelmed with content and short on attention, every word matters. Being concise is not just a style, it's a sign of respect. You're saying, I value your time, and I believe in what I'm saying.
So, Lena, this sounds like a pretty big deal. Why do you think so many people rely on fillers? What's really going on beneath the surface?
That's such a key question, Ethan. And the answer is more emotional than technical. Most people don't use fillers because they're careless. They use them because they're nervous, unsure, or afraid of silence. Let me explain. Our brains are wired to avoid awkwardness. And silence? For many, silence is awkward. So we fill those little gaps with something, anything, to avoid feeling exposed. Words like, kind of, maybe, or literally become verbal crutches. They give your brain an extra half second to think. And in small doses, that's fine. But when it becomes a habit, it's like trying to run a race while dragging a heavy backpack.
Wow. So what we think is helping us is actually slowing us down. We're trading clarity for comfort.
Exactly. And here's the twist. The comfort is fake. Because while you feel safer, the listener feels confused. They don't get your full confidence. They get a watered-down version. And in high-stakes situations, like presentations, pitches, interviews, credibility is everything. Using too many fillers tells your audience, I'm not sure. I haven't thought this through. I'm not confident in what I'm saying. Even if you don't actually feel that way.
That's powerful. It's like wearing the wrong shoes to a job interview. Even if you know your stuff, the image you present sends a mixed signal.
Exactly. And the toughest part? Most people don't even realize they're doing it. Fillers become part of our speaking rhythm. That's why awareness is the first and biggest step.
Let's get real practical now. We've talked about how fillers affect your speech, but let's name them. What are the most common fillers people use every single day?
Great question. Let's break it down with a list. These 7 are the usual suspects, the words that sneak into your speech, often without you noticing. 1. Like, this is probably the most common. I was really tired. It makes your sentences sound uncertain and immature. It's popular in casual speech, especially among younger generations, but it can really reduce clarity. Second, literally often misused. People say, I was literally dying, when they clearly weren't. It adds drama, but rarely adds meaning. In fact, it often makes you sound exaggerated or imprecise. 3. Actually, this one feels smart, but it often creates a tone of correction or surprise. Actually, I think sounds defensive or hesitant. If overused, it makes your speech feel apologetic or overly reactive. 4. Basically sounds like a simplifier, right? But it usually just fills time. Basically, what I'm saying can be cut down to I'm saying. The core message remains, but the clutter is gone. 5. You know this one is tricky. It invites the listener to agree with you, but overuse sounds insecure. It was a good movie, you know? No need to seek reassurance if you're confident. 6. Sort of, kind of. These soften your message unnecessarily. I kind of liked it versus I liked it. Big difference. Softening can be useful sometimes, but not when it becomes a habit. 7. The oldest and most automatic fillers. They signal hesitation. 1 or 2 is okay. It's human. But constant, makes it seem like you're unsure of every word. Now listen, using these occasionally is totally normal. We're not robots. Speech isn't perfect. But when these words appear in every sentence, they start to dilute your message. And people judge your confidence, clarity, and even intelligence based on how you speak. It's not always fair, but it's real. So, being intentional about what you say is powerful. These fillers might seem small, but removing them can be life-changing for your communication.
All right, let's shift gears. I want to make this super practical for everyone listening. Let's try a challenge. I'll say a sentence that's packed with weak words, and Lena, your job is to clean it up into something sharp and powerful. Cool?
Oh, I love this game. Let's do it.
All right, here's the sentence. So, basically, I was thinking that, we could maybe sort of try doing that project tomorrow or something.
Haha. Oh, wow. That's a classic. Now listen, this is what happens in real-life conversations. People don't even realize how much verbal clutter they're using. Let me break that down. So, basically, all hesitation words. I was thinking that adds no meaning. You know, seeks agreement or filler. Maybe sort of try doing uncertain, not confident. Tomorrow or something. Ends vague and unsure. Here's the strong, clear version. Let's plan to start the project tomorrow. Same core idea. But now the sentence sounds professional, confident, and clear.
Wow, that's a night and day difference. One version feels like you're unsure, maybe even nervous. The other feels like you've got a plan, and you mean it.
Exactly. And here's the beauty of it. The moment you start speaking with clarity, people begin to respect your words more. You sound more focused, more trustworthy, and more decisive. Whether you're talking to your team, pitching an idea, or leading a conversation, your voice becomes a leadership tool.
That's gold. And for everyone listening, start paying attention to your own speech. Try recording yourself, or ask a friend to point out when you use fillers. Trust me, the awareness alone will start changing the way you speak.
Let's talk about the psychology behind it. You see, many people use words like maybe, kind of, or sort of, not because they don't know what they want to say, but because they're afraid of sounding too direct. There's this hidden fear. What if I offend someone? Or what if I sound too strong? So instead of saying, I disagree, they say, well, I kind of see it differently. It feels safer, softer, less confrontational. But here's the problem. This approach dilutes your message. It makes it hard for others to understand what you really mean. Clarity isn't rudeness. Being clear doesn't mean you're arrogant. It means you respect your own voice enough to speak with intention.
Yes, I love that you said that. Clarity is not aggressive, it's respectful. Because when you speak with precision, you're actually doing others a favor. You're not making them guess your meaning. You're making communication easier, faster, and more honest.
Exactly. Think of it this way. If someone always says, maybe I can do it, what do you think? You're left wondering, will they? Won't they? Now imagine they say, yes, I'll handle it by tomorrow. Boom. Confidence, commitment, trust. So let's stop hiding behind weak words. Let's own our voice with kindness and strength.
All right, Lena. Now that we've uncovered why people use these weak words, let's get practical. How do we help our listeners actually break this habit? Because I know it's not easy. These words have been part of our speech for years.
Totally. But the good news is, it's fixable. With a little awareness and practice, you can train your brain to speak more clearly. Here's a simple 5-step plan anyone can follow. 1. Record yourself. Choose a topic, like your favorite movie, a memory, or even your morning routine. Speak for just 2 minutes. Then listen back carefully. Count how many times you said like, or any other filler. You'll be shocked at how often these words sneak in. This step builds awareness, and awareness is the first step to change. 2. Practice pausing. The next time you're tempted to say or try something bold. Say nothing. Just pause. A 2-second pause feels long in your head. But to the listener, it's a moment of thoughtfulness. It actually makes you sound more confident.
That's my favorite tip, honestly. Silence isn't awkward. It's powerful. It gives weight to your words.
Absolutely. Now, number 3 is slow down. Fast speech often leads to filler words. When your brain is racing ahead, your mouth tries to keep up. And in that gap, fillers happen. So slow your pace. Take your time. Speaking more slowly makes your words land with impact. 4. Use simpler sentences. Complicated grammar or long thoughts lead to confusion, both for you and your listener. So keep your sentences simple and focused. Instead of saying, I was thinking we could maybe try doing that assignment tomorrow if that's okay. Just say, let's work on the assignment tomorrow. Clear, efficient, confident. 5. Have conversations on purpose. This is the fun part. Practice talking intentionally. Start with a friend, a sibling, or even in front of the mirror. Pick a topic and challenge yourself to speak without using any fillers for 1 full minute. At first, it'll be tough, but each time you try, you'll notice yourself improving.
That last one is gold. You don't need a stage or a podcast to practice clear speech. Every conversation is a mini training session. And with every conversation, you're rewiring your speech patterns to be clearer, calmer, and more confident. Let me read a quick listener comment. After listening to your show, I realized I say like at least 30 times a day. I started recording my voice, and after 2 weeks, my coworkers said I sound way more confident. Thank you.
That's such a win. It shows that small changes bring big results, and anyone can do it.
Lena, wrap this up for us. What's the big idea listeners should remember?
If your message matters, and it does, then deliver it with clarity. Remove the noise. Trust your words. You don't need like or basically to sound smart. You already are.
Boom. That's the truth. Friends, if you're enjoying this series, make sure to subscribe and share it with someone who loves learning. And don't forget, your voice can be powerful when you make it simple. Until next time, keep speaking strong and keep unlocking English. This is Ethan.
And I'm Lena. See you next time on English Unlocked.